You are live.
All right. That wasn't supposed to happen. Hey, everybody. We're here. It doesn't matter. It's a shit show, but it's our shit show. That's going to be our HVA-Chicks radio slogan. I'm here with Val and Danny, of course. We're all hosting tonight. It's our first show. So we're going to have Danila on here very, very soon. She's running a couple minutes late. But we wanted to kind of talk to you guys about what's going on, right? What's going on in the coalition? Why are we here? The whole 9 yards. So this is the HVA-Chicks radio show. It's going to be every Saturday night, hopefully no matter what, because we're going to do this one a little bit different. We're going to do this one where everybody in the coalition gets a chance to host. So if anybody wants to host an episode, please do. We have a Calendly link. We will make a post as to how you guys can sign up for that. It's going to be a whole bunch of fun to be on the show and be a host and not just a guest. Like, you can literally host an episode about anything HVAC related or nothing at all. You can come on here and just talk to our viewers and shoot the shit, whatever. We don't care. But what we want is for every single person in this coalition to be involved, because this should be a group effort, just like we do everything else.
Yep.
So now that we got that out of the way, what is going on in the coalition? We had FM Hero training today. It was awesome. I'm really sorry to those who missed it, because who knew the recording didn't work? So that's fine. We're fine. We will bring them back on to do another one. But you guys, if you haven't already, please go and get FM Hero, the app. You need to be tracking your refrigerant, and that's a great way to do it. What else we got, Danny, going on in the coalition?
FM Hero thought about pretty much everything.
Yeah, they did.
Any questions we had, they were able to answer, and it's going to really be nice for all the techs in the field.
Yeah, and any companies that sign up, we get 20% for the coalition in the next week or so. So it's pretty cool. And then, yeah, right. So go buy it. No, so we have book club. We just started a new book. We're actually not going to do book club this week. I'm going to put a post in the coalition, let everybody know, but we're not going to do book club this week. We had a lot going on with the changes in the show. It is what it is, you guys. And we're here. We're still live every Saturday night at 9. So let's do it. I'm stoked about it. So let's go into some of the things that we have coming up, because we do have Danila running a little bit late. I actually want to go through the chat first, and then we'll kind of go into more.
Danny wear Crocs?
Straight up sneakers, Brian. Straight up sneakers.
We got to put it up on the screen. You guys remember to put it up on the screen. Val, do you want to share a couple of comments? Well, just share who's in the chat.
Oh, yeah. Brian Sanders, Tom Socha, Rudy Rod, John Gant, Liliana, HVAC doctor, HVAC teacher. Love the HVAC. What up, Ty?
Hey, guys.
Hey, Ty.
Thank you guys for being here. Seriously, we were a little worried that nobody was going to show up because it's a brand new show, and here we are. Here we are with the whole crew, everybody that always shows up, and I love it.
Says Val, the beard is looking stellar.
Yeah, Val's a little majestic over here. I only have him on here for arm candy.
Perla and Ty. So make sure you say hi, Perla.
Oh, hey, Perla. Hey, girlfriend.
All
right. So Danila's still not here yet. So I'll go into a couple of things. What? Jen got a Viking next to her. Thanks, Rudy. You're right. I try to keep it that way. It takes a whole Viking to handle my ass. Hey, Josh Abraham. You guys, just so that you know, you can buy sponsorships to this show. Josh did. You can buy it with any size donation to the coalition at all. So Josh will have a commercial tonight. Anybody that wants one will also have one as well. All right. So what else is going on in the coalition? We have book club. We have every Saturday is live training at 2 p.m. We have no. Jimmy says no book club. That upsets me. Put it on here. Well, click it on here. We're learning. We're learning.
Barely any screen left on there.
It's all right.
Okay?
It's just.
Well, my phone's gonna die any second, anyways. but yeah, we didn't do another book club yet because we haven't started a new book.
You're not supposed to tell them. Yeah, so we did get the new book queued up.
We're the people that are supposed to be in book club know that we haven't started a new book yet.
However, we're getting there. Yeah, so and then we have some things coming up. We have our manual J training is going to start this coming Saturday. Jimmy and I are doing a joint training. We're going to go from kind of the practical in the field ductulator class that Jimmy did last week, and we're going to move it into, this is more of the theoretical stuff, but this is how it relates and correlates to the in the field stuff. So all those people who are designing duct, who are, single man owners or whatever they might be, can learn a little bit more about doing the on paper work themselves instead of having to pay people like me. So that's pretty cool. All right, guys, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our guest tonight. This is the most exciting episode I have probably ever been on because this guest is so different and so unique in our industry. So UKT Air Conditioners, you guys, if you haven't seen them yet, look them up, look up their website. I will definitely make a post in the coalition showing you what they are up to. You guys will see a lot of posts from me because they're sending me one. So I'm excited to try it out. But these are condenser-less air conditioners. And I'll let Danila tell you guys the rest. Let's bring her on.
Can you hear me?
We can. Hey, girlfriend.
Perfect. Thank you. So I was apologizing for the delay. I ran a little bit late.
No problem.
That's okay.
Yes. Yes, we are an air conditioners manufacturer. So we actually in a period where everybody is going abroad to manufacture, we are here in the United States making them.
Yeah.
They are condenser-less. So this means that outside you have nothing. So you don't have a big box, as we call it, any. You have only one hole through the wall, 8 inches, and concentrical pipes inside. So
That's
we
awesome.
have different kinds of grills. If you are on the upper floors, you can actually push it from the inside, like a little mushroom. If you are on the lower floors, it is a bit bigger on the outside for the mice, for little animals, for whatever it may be. So these are the two kinds. And yes, it looks very simple. It took a while to perfection it and everything, but here we go.
All right. Why don't you tell us how it started? Tell us the story from when you guys started this to now.
Yeah, well, UKT Air Conditioner had been around since 1998.
Crazy.
So we've been around for quite a long time. And our experience comes from the automotive field. We have engineers that started their career in the automotive supplying air conditioning in cars that didn't have it to start with.
Wow.
So they were finding the space inside a car that was already manufactured for the aftermarket. So with all the problems that creates and all the challenges that create. So we were born as an automotive air conditioning company. We then developed for special projects, so doing a lot of R&D.
Yeah.
So air conditioner for projects where they were not thought to be inside or for usage that were not thought before. We work with offshore platforms. We work with rail companies. We work with tunnels, submarine tunnels. So all these specific and how could you say, customer that have a very specific need. They need somebody that gives them not only a product, but a solution.
Yeah.
And we provide the R&D in-house because we still have a very big R&D department and engineering department that can project develop from the beginning up to the prototype and then the manufacturing side when the approval is done. So the challenge comes in at the end of the 90s, because there was nothing around without the external unit.
Yeah.
And that, especially in Europe, was kind of a big issue, because you have listed buildings, you have a very narrow towns or city, historical, listed, and seeing that nothing was around, our engineers thought, well, let's take the challenge and think about something. And that's how the first patents have become, have developed in some way.
Wow.
So we have quite a few patents along the years. So our concept is patent, as well as lots of other things inside, because we have to remember that even if we're not very known to the final public, to the final market, we have been working for other companies, so for other big manufacturing, providing projects and providing products.
Yeah.
So all these big manufacturing that at the moment do not have a big R&D department because of cost cutting and whatever it is, we do the study, we do all the paper, we do the projects, and that's part of our job as well.
Wow.
We, in some way, decided to take the challenge and come to manufacture here in the United States. We have been here for quite a few years. We are now at the point of having pretty much 30,000 square feet of manufacturing plant. So plus we have aside the showroom, and we have aside the R&D, because we have decided to keep separate, but just in terms of buildings,
Right.
not in terms of areas, just in terms of building.
Yeah.
So that.
And you guys still have a factory in the UK, right?
Yes, yes. We have an engineering very strong in the UK, because it is still the center, London is still the center for a few types of projects. So offshore is good for the UK. So the company is renewed there. We have a very high share capital that works for institutional customer and customer that have the need to know that the company is there for whatever they need, because we do not always, especially with this kind of customer, you cannot only provide a product, you have to provide a service as well.
Right.
Yep.
So we develop the solution that you need, but then we are there to follow your path and to grow the product. We have been working with the submarine tunnel since 2005. And every few years, their engineer comes and say, well, we saw that this could be a new interface that we're using. Can you put it on the air conditioner as well? Or we have been noticed that the traffic has been increasing, or the pollution has been increasing, so we need a treatment that is more, let's say, protective for the heat exchangers. So we try to follow the customer even in the after sale, not only on the simple product that you can purchase one time. And that is why we have customers that have been working with us for 20 years.
Yeah.
Because
That's
we
why I
grow
want
and
to.
we develop something with them, even along the way.
Right. You stay with them. You don't just sell them a product and back off. You stay with them the whole time.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
And
So
now, if you think about,
we have a question from the HVAC doctor. He wants to know, will we see an influx of UKT units in the hotel PTAC area of the industry? My answer is, I hope so.
well, we have different units. We have seen here in the United States the usage of the PTAC.
Yeah.
They have a very big opening in the back of the air conditioner, and there's a big unit in the room as well.
Right.
So what we have tried, we've provided two solutions for this. We have one unit that will cover completely this opening, but having the 8-inch hole, and that is it. That will cover it completely. But we have a sort of P-tack. We're offering a P-tack as well with different sleeves that will go into the old opening, but the air conditioning inside the room that you have is this
That's
thick,
awesome.
because we have put everything on the space that you have on the wall, but
Right.
inside the wall. That means especially less noise.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Because the reason why we developed that project, which is called the High Noon, is because the hotel owners were saying they're noisy.
Yeah.
And they're big. So I lose square footage inside my hotel room. And as well, I have the issue of the noise. So we provided these two solutions.
Awesome.
And in the cases of refurbishments, in cases of little hotels that change one unit per time, they have been shown to be a good solution, a good opportunity, let's say.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
you have a style of unit that is like a P-tack unit, but say
I
that
have
there was no existing hole, you would put it where the P-tack would go, and it would just be an 8-inch hole that would go out?
Sorry, I cannot hear you.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
We turned our mic down because everybody said we were clipping.
Yeah.
So are you saying that you have a unit that is similar to a P-tack unit? It would go down like a P-tack unit would, but if there's no existing hole, there would just be an 8-inch hole instead?
Yes. So we had provided the two solutions. Our units were born with an 8-inch hole. And that is the only thing we require from for the installation,
Right.
and that is good up to 12 to 14,000 BTU.
Yeah.
If we're talking though about a very hot climate, we have a little bit of a bigger hole.
Yeah.
And it's in the website, because if we're talking about T3 temperature and environment, we know that we cannot make it work with an 8-inch, so we increase it. Now, going back to the question, so yes, you have nothing already. It's an 8-inch hole. You have already the opening for the P-tack. Well, I give you the possibility to still use that, because at this point you have it. What can you do?
Right.
But I have a sleeve that will fit my product in it.
That's amazing.
That is
That's
amazing.
cool.
So cool.
Because
You guys, if you haven't
our
seen them,
products are
look them up. They are so nice looking too. Like, you guys, we all hate the ugly mini split, right? And I mean, they're getting better, but like, let's be real, they're never going to be pretty. These things are pretty, and the only reason I wanted one was because it was pretty.
well, we tried to give something different, something unique.
They're very
As you
unique.
see on the back, we have the vertical units.
Yeah.
And we have them in almost every color that you can imagine.
Yeah. I saw there's a
And in
rose gold one.
Yeah, and in different materials as well. If we're talking about Middle East, they like it gold.
Wow.
We have
They
been
had to
doing
wear?
covers that were gold plated. We've been doing covers that they had the drawing on it that you could feel. So
Wow.
Wow.
it's custom. The customer decide what they want, but it has
Wow.
a personalized product, because we work in a niche and we try to give the customer what he wants. If they come to us and an architect has a project that wants green units, why not? We can
Wow.
do them. And that's how we collect in some way also different designs and different ideas.
Yeah, true. I love that.
Great question.
So
What's the
the
question?
product behind me was actually
the
born because we found ourselves in a place where you only have very little space. And
Yeah.
the old concept of having a unit that was on the top or on the bottom of your wall was not enough. There was actually not that space. So we thought, well, why not?
Right.
In terms of apartments or condos or hotels, this gives you square footage.
Yes.
When we work with builders, that's what they're looking for.
Yeah.
They
yeah.
are looking not
And
to lose, because 1 square foot more is more dollars gained for them.
Yep.
yeah, and even for contractors, like, so we have mini splits, right? We can do mini splits, but then we're dealing with line sets. We're dealing with a whole bunch of mess, and then we're dealing with ugly units after that we have to cover up and protect. So this is what I was thinking about with UKT the other day. This completely does away with the theft problem we have in HVAC
Yes.
as well, because there
Yes.
is nothing outside. You guys
There's
don't
nothing
know
to
this
steal.
is a
Yeah.
window unit. This unit goes on the wall. This is not a window unit. It goes on the wall, and it has nothing but, you do not provide anything for this unit but an 8-inch hole. So that is what we're
Yes.
talking here.
Yes. When we made another project that was working for, the telecommunication containers, the
Yeah.
cabins,
Yeah.
that they are spread everywhere, but they are the project that we did was in Africa.
Oh,
So
wow.
they had the issue. They were saying, okay, the first problem is that we cannot work outside because we have the lines going around.
Yeah.
The second problem is there's copper inside.
Yeah.
So as soon as I had installed it,
They're a target.
there's no unit anymore. And so we have the Wildwind, the big unit, the bigger one that we have is 18 and 21. It fits on the door of a container.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome.
And so that was our solution. So yes, there is different opportunity. We only want to offer something different. We offer something different.
And you do,
That,
for sure.
if you think about also the maintenance,
Yes.
everything is inside. We work in a very rigid way. So we want maintenance to be simple if it has to be made. Our goal is not to see any maintenance for at least 10, 15 years. Okay,
Crazy.
you lose the remote control, we give you a new remote control. Okay, you want to change the filter, we change the filter.
Yeah.
But we're looking for units that will just go.
Not break.
Hotels, they usually buy just a few more.
Right.
They
Parts.
buy some spare ones, and if something happened, well, they just unplug it, take it away, and then refit it.
Yeah.
And that's what they need to do right away.
Yeah. Immediately before the next person comes in or while this person's in.
Then we also thought about something else, the fact of, well, if you have a ducted unit, if you have a central unit,
Yep.
there may be some cases in which the air of one goes in the air of the other one. So the air circulate between rooms.
Right.
And some hotels do not appreciate that.
Yeah.
Some people say, well, that's the room and that's the air. We do not
Right.
want contamination between one to another. If we think about retirement homes or the apartments for retired people, for elderly,
Yes.
we work a lot with those kind of customers because it's one room, one apartment, one unit.
Yeah. I love that.
There's no spreading of anything. We have an air purifier inside, a UV lamp that we use in most of these units, and you have peace of mind.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we have a great question from the HVAC doctor. What refrigerant is UKT using?
Sorry?
What refrigerant are you guys using?
That is a very good question. We, especially the period in which
Right
nobody
now?
knows what to do anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We use different kind of refrigerants. We have been testing a lot of them. I can tell you that we mostly do not use the 410
Oh. Well, they're UK.
because
Oh, I didn't even think of this.
because it doesn't perform as we wish. It
Same.
creates you problem in a multitude of situations. So I can also tell you that we have been working, especially in very hot climates, with the refrigerant that you put in your cars.
1,
The
2, 3, 4. Why?
144.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
Okay.
That was a solution that we found for a certain type. I'm sorry, I cannot hear. The volume of the microphone is so low.
We're
I'm
too low
sorry.
now, guys. No worries
Okay,
at all.
what
Let me
voltage?
up it.
So what voltage are offered? And is there a remote thermostat or integrated? Everything. I mean, we have 110, 115, we have the 220. Especially for the bigger units, we suggest 220 because it makes lots of sense and they're more efficient.
Yeah.
For what concern the thermostat, it's a choice. So by standard, we tell you that the vertical has a thermostat on the unit and a remote control.
Right.
If the unit goes on the top of your wall, well, the thermostat is on the wall and you have your remote control that goes directly to there. So we are flexible. We have units that come in a standard way because we keep them on the shelf. We keep them for whoever comes, but we manufacture as well what the customer has chosen. If a hotel has already an interface that they have been working for 40 years and they do not want to change it, well, we will make the unit so that they can work with what they wanted to work with.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, this is
Okay.
a perfect segue, Danila, to one of our, we have to get our bills paid out here. So let's bring in Cielo thermostats right here because Cielo thermostats would work with your units. I love that. You guys, you can literally buy a UKT unit, buy a Cielo thermostat, and your customer will not have any problems with controlling their unit whatsoever. I love
it is, as I said, the interface, we have to decide only the interface at the beginning. It's not an issue for us. We just have to agree it, which if a project starts with a certain manufacturer of control, we're good with it.
Yeah.
It's
That's
just a
amazing.
matter of configuring the units. Yes. We also have them with the Wi-Fi. We have a few models with Wi-Fi. I know that lots of people are asking it. I personally cannot go over the on off 1, 2, 3, the ventilation.
Yeah.
That is my maximum. If I start to see more buttons and more lights, I get frustrated. But that is actually just me.
What about how you told me on the phone, and I want you to tell them because this is one of my favorite parts, how the electrical components are changed.
Well, everything has changed. And I have to admit that it was easier 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, 15, 20 years ago, you still had manufacturers that will give you technical details, that will sell you actually what you were asking for with the specification that you were asking for.
Yeah.
And that is how we have always sourced our suppliers. That is actually why our units are a bit more expensive as well.
Yeah.
Now, it's happening in the last years more and more frequently that you can receive something that is not exactly what you have ordered, even if the label is perfect.
Right.
And that makes you put in at that point, you put in discussion a lot of things, a lot of supplier, and you try to find. That's why we try to source as much as we can between the old suppliers that we always had in Europe and supplier here in the United States that we can actually visit, that we can actually go and say, we are very particular with the components that we use in our units.
Yeah. Can you tell them how your husband tests them?
We want what we need with the specification we need, because otherwise it's not going to work as we expected, but also as the customer expected.
Yeah.
So we test all the components when they arrive, and then of course
I love this.
the unit at the end. How easy to get parts. We are a manufacturer. We can give you the parts you need. I mean,
all you guys, what I was getting at is all the electrical components plug into a Molex and plug out with a Molex. I forget you're there. So
yeah,
if you change the electrical parts, you change the electrical parts. It's that easy.
Yes. I mean, okay. If we have a contractor that works on 200 rooms and he has a problem on one because, he had a strike, he had a lightning,
Yeah.
he lost the light, whatever reason it is.
Power surge. Yeah.
We provide a new electrical box for them.
Awesome.
So our goal is not to have anybody to open the unit and change parts. We want them to know what is happening. We have a troubleshooting, we have a problem solving kind of principle behind, but the electrical box is closed. We give you a new one and you plug all, we put stickers, we put all the elements to recognize what is what and what is not. You change it easily. It has to be clear what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I mean, most of the installers know what they're doing, and I know that.
Yeah.
But we also have to think that sometimes you have contractors that are not electricians or they are not particularly fun in the electrical side. So you have to provide them something that is clear and that they know what they're doing.
Right.
And that's what we try to do.
Would that make it easy for a homeowner to do it themselves, though?
They're not allowed to.
Well, technically, I can't forbid somebody to try themselves.
But these are put in by contractors. And so when they have a problem, they call the contractor.
But,
and then the
I also, when I have an homeowner that contact me, I mean, it's hard for me to suggest them an installer.
Right.
But what I always tell them is go to your installer and have them to talk to us.
Yeah.
Have them to call us. And I mean, we understand that for somebody it may be a new unit to install.
Yeah.
We do understand that. But we're here for explaining, for training courses. We're here to show how it's made, to give the information that are needed. So what we always suggest is, yes, I cannot tell a homeowner not to buy it, but I always suggest, well, you have your installer. Well, why don't you contact him and send it to us?
Right.
Right.
But this is not typical of standalone units. They don't usually care about who buys them as long as someone buys them. And there are whole mini splits. There are whole package units that you can buy at Home Depot, right? And put them in yourself. And that's where we in the industry run into all these problems. So you guys, even just having that one step where if a homeowner calls you, you say, call your installer, have them call us. That's more than most are giving us. So that's why I really wanted to have you guys on, because this is contractors need to know that there is another opportunity besides the mini split that can help your customers in the same way and even better ways because they're getting more space. But also they make ducted units, you guys. Can you tell them about the ducted units?
Well, I see a question though.
Oh yeah, go ahead. So what is the ETA if parts are needed then? Some manufacturers have been telling us 4 months, and that's absolutely true.
I know. For some things it's getting hard. We source from different places. That's the only thing I can tell you. When we're talking about big projects, yes, we can give you 2 months or 3 months of delivery time. If we're talking about hundreds of units, I cannot tell you that that is not an issue. When we're talking about the normal runaway quantity, the standard one here and there, we're pretty quick. We got 1-2 weeks. If you're looking at bigger projects, yes, it may take us as well a month or two. We aim to be quick, but it is an issue. We source from different places.
Yeah, but Danila, what we're talking about is we need a single board, and it's going to take 4 months to get to us. So we're not talking hundreds of units.
Okay, it is an issue though. I do understand that. We are seeing it too. And we are.
It's in the import-export right now.
In some way, we still have some of the old suppliers that we used to have for the automotive, and we still
Wow.
supply, we still get parts from them, and that makes it a bit easier as well for us.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
But
great. That's what
I
the
do
industry
understand the
does now.
pain. I do understand the pain.
There's a lot going on for us right now. You know,
I
it's
know.
getting a little to a point, and this is why I really wanted to have you on, because sometimes it's more about creativity, survival in times like this. And when we have already units like yours that are available to us since the 90s, like we need to start getting on that train and start saying, you know, maybe there are situations in certain customers that would
option.
benefit from this.
It's an option. It's a different option. I mean, I understand that for lots of situation, the old central air may be good. I understand that some customer may still want a Windows type because it's cheaper, it's available, it's quick, and they bring them around with them. So I mean, those are all good usage and all good product. We offer something different. We offer a different option. We do have
And-
something central as well,
Yeah, let's talk about
always
that.
without anything on the outside. And that this is when I was saying before that when you have a bigger unit, we suggest to 20 volt, 120 volt. And this has two opening, but it can arrive to 24, 26,000 BTU, and you can do many rooms at the same time.
Yeah.
We put it in the basement or we put it in the attic.
Yep.
In up to now, we've seen it more in the attic side than on the basement, but some people are creative. They will do it as well. And you can duct it. You can bring the air in different rooms, up to 4 or 5 rooms. We have different plenums. We offer different options and accessories to do what you may need. And it's, as I said, it's a different opportunity.
It's really cool. It's on the website, you guys. They have like a little animated graphic that you can watch about it, and it's awesome. Your website too, I have to say, when I first got to it, I was so confused, and I'm like, wow, there's a lot on here. But then all you have to do is scroll down, and you can see literally everything. It's so easy. I love the way you guys do the website.
What we have, the idea behind that website was to give to the person that was curious as many information as we could without them having to, because also for me sometimes with some supplier it's hard. You have one question and you're never able to make it because you always get bounced between 1, 2, 3 people, 4 people, an engineer, a technician, and the girl that answered the phone. We said we would like the person to find as much as possible there.
Yeah.
Then of course any other question is appreciated.
Yeah. It's just so clear. It's such a clear website. I've never like gotten so much information off one website.
We tried to give as much information as we could.
It's great.
Yeah. There's
All
nothing
right,
that's hidden on there. Everything for all of the pieces of equipment, they're there, they're out there, and it's for everybody to read, you know, not just your contractor to know.
Yeah. So you guys, this is a good question too. So you guys are using the automotive refrigerant. So that's going to be 1234YF in the US right now. Well, moving into that right now. So where it's a component of 454B and we have the 454B shortage, are you guys concerned that you might see a shortage in the 1234YF?
We're concerned about every kind of shortage.
We are too.
Because it is there. And I mean, for as much as we have in some way bought as much as we could,
Yeah.
and we try to minimize the use of certain kind of components instead of another one, the shortage is there.
Yeah.
That is the reason why we need to manufacture more in the US.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, the point is that we cannot depend from, and I mean, we cannot depend so much from other countries that are so far. And I mean, I come from different places as well, so I got nothing in contrary to this. It is just that if you need to manufacture, if you need parts to give to an installer, if you need components, well, you need to find them, but also because the quality is going to be different.
Yes.
Because you can go to your supply. I mean, I remember that 20 years ago, you used to go to your supplier once a year or every 6 months, and you were making a plan and you were saying, well, I need this, this, and this with this uh, particularities, with these options. Now, it doesn't work like that anymore. And if you ask for technical details about something, you're not going to receive them.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a different culture that we need to change that. We need to make a shift again to say, okay, as you were saying though before, you need to find solutions. And I agree
Yeah.
with you. You
It's
have
about
to get
getting creative right now.
And that is
Yeah.
where you have to start to make your own things again.
Yeah.
At the beginning, it's
love
going to be longer and harder, but in the long term, and I mean in a couple of years, that's going to be great.
Yeah. Especially when we're used to that. And when that's the normal, I can't even
Yeah.
imagine what, like, this seems really awful right now. But when we get into what it's forcing us into, we're going to be a lot happier, I think, as an economy, as a humanity.
But we
as a
have to
country.
get creative, though.
Yes,
That
for
is for
You gotta
sure the
survive
key
it
of
first.
everything. The key of everything is finding different solution, finding new solution.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
of course I follow the manufacturer, but I can tell you that we have our engineers that are on the refrigerant every day.
Yeah,
On that
that's
point,
awesome.
because it changes so quickly. Components are different. You have to see that they are compatible one to another one. So I am not in some way minimizing the question that we already got, that we just got.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you that much, but
Right.
because I cannot know everything. No, I'm just
But
joking.
we're gonna be okay, right?
I'm just saying that we know it's a challenge and we are taking the challenge up.
I
and
love that.
working on it.
I love that. I love that there's no fear mongering here. You guys, I've talked to so many manufacturers recently, and they are furthering the fear because they're afraid. And so when we get somebody like you on, Danielle, where it's just like, we'll roll with it. Like nothing's taken us out since the 90s. We got this.
Yeah.
I love
And
it.
I mean, up to now, especially like the special project that you get, you have customers that kind of come to you and say, well, we forgot the air conditioner.
Yeah.
We made the entire project, we forgot it.
Yep.
Now, this is the space you have available. You got to put something.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot in my neck of the woods in HVAC
yeah.
engineering when the builders
It
forgot
happens
about
even it happens even in big projects. You would
Yeah.
not think about it, but it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
For
so
sure.
you pick up the challenge and you said, okay, what do you need? Give us your requirement. Give us your needs, and we will work towards it and around them.
I love
And
that.
that's why you don't have to be scared about the future. Then again, you always have to improve. That doesn't
Yeah.
mean that, I mean, you have to improve towards. We are big believers that green energy should be used more and more.
Absolutely.
And that's why we are working, and we have a couple of models that are solar prep.
Awesome.
Wow.
And because we believe that we need to use these energies more and more.
Yeah.
And if you will look at our technical details, you will see that the amperage that we start our unit with, it's low. And we can get lower with these solar prep units. Of
That's
course,
awesome.
That's
you
awesome.
need the market that
progressive.
is prepared for that.
Yeah. That's a whole other
Because
thing.
you need that as well.
Yeah.
But we believe it's the future. So we need to focus. Probably that has been something that we have missed along the way. Even if something is working right now, you need to get better.
Yeah.
You need to make it even better. And that means in terms of efficiency, in terms of material. Our covers used to be in plastic.
Yep.
But we have decided almost 10 years ago to phase it out because it cannot be recycled properly. It's a material that when you mold it, when you thermoform it, and whatever you do, when
Lasts forever.
the injection mold, it's toxic. Let's be honest. So in our case, we said, okay, let's redesign everything and let's make it in aluminum or this galvanized steel, whatever it's needed in the unit. So the
Something that can be
covers of our
recycled.
unit are now in aluminum. That
I love
means that it's recyclable. You can repaint it. You can do whatever you want. So that's what I'm saying. You have to keep studying. You have to keep researching.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that. All right, let's bring on another sponsor shout out. Thank you so much to Abraham HVAC. Josh Abraham's company has been our first sponsor on this show. It is incredible to have a show where our members are also our sponsors. You guys, if you need an HVAC company in the Kansas City area, go with Josh's company. It's okay and it's the best, and he's going to take care of you. He's going to treat you like a neighbor. He's not going to overcharge you for all of the things that everybody's overcharging for right now. He's not going to fearmonger you into using a unit that is either non-compliant, right? Or is overly compliant to a point where you can't get parts. He's going to take care of you. If you are in his area, if you're watching the show, if you need an HVAC technician, please just call Abraham because it's going to take care of all your problems and you're not going to have any more later on. All right, moving back to the show. I have a question. So I know the story.
Nebraska.
Sorry, he's a Kansas City fan. That's why I did that. For your actual commercial, Josh, that'll be on next week. I won't say that, I promise. So yeah, Nebraska. Anyway, so I know the story, Dania. I know how UKT came to be. It's on your website there. I was reading articles about it and I was literally touched just because it's just a beautiful thing happened that I didn't know about. But can you walk us through, you don't have to share too many personal details, but can you walk us through how the company came to be and all the players involved?
Well, the company was born as a family company. And in some way, the first challenge came from a father to a son saying, you know what, you engineers are doing always the same things, repeating them and repeating them.
I know
You
the
take
feeling.
a product from another company and you change just one bit and then you put it back on the market. You're not doing anything new. So the father said to the son, I challenge you to do something different from once. And that is okay. Do you think you can do something that doesn't exist yet? And the son said, okay, challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted.
So all the experience that was before, that was collected in many, many years, because also the father was an engineer in many different fields. So they put together an experience that didn't come only from the appliance world. They put together something that they have learned along the way in their careers from many different fields. Being, as you said, creative and said, okay, only because it doesn't exist yet, it doesn't mean that it's impossible. And that is how it came to be. They started to prototyping, they started to make it work, they started to see if they could make it better and better and better. And that's how they started to also patent everything they were doing. Now, of course, we're talking about the 90s and we're talking about Europe, so patents are still getting to be implemented into the web. They take a lot of time. But yeah, they put together, maybe that was the game, putting together experiences that were coming from different lives, from different ways. And the mother in this case was a stylist, so a designer.
Oh,
and
wow.
she said, well, let's see if we can make them pretty as well.
Well, she nailed that.
So in some way, it was everybody participated in a different way, not only having in their mind just the appliance, just everything that was made up to that point, because, you know, it has always worked. Why should we change? Well, sometimes you need to change. You need to take that step and give to the market something different.
And by adding the whole family's other experiences from other points in their lives and in their worlds. It all came
Yeah.
together in an air conditioner. It's like, it's just such a crazy story, but it makes perfect sense.
Most of the components that are still used and that were used since the beginning were automotive components. And
Wow.
that will allow, and he's saying yes, because a car has many more issues than a house. It moves, it fluctuates, the temperature and the battery and the power, so the efficiency. So if you put everything that you have learned there and you put it into an air conditioner that is actually static, try to imagine the miracles you can do.
I can't even imagine.
Especially having lots of, let's see, speaking of you can do it to a CO2 unit. What do
or
they mean
natural
by
refrigerant.
As I said, we are experimenting different options.
Yeah.
Because
I
as
can
we were
imagine you
saying,
can't say much about that.
no, not that.
But yes, UKT is all about green energy, sustainable refrigerants, all of the above. So what you guys have to also remember, and this is something that I had to remember when I was researching UKT, is that it originated in Italy, moved to the UK, and now has moved to the US, and just in time for a grand old shebang in the HVAC industry. So it's like they tell you, use this, this is what you need to use. And then they're like, wait, we lied.
We
So
change
I
our
can
mind.
imagine
It's
there's-
not that we lie. We change our mind.
Yes, we decided otherwise. And
Yes,
that
we
is so
decided
challenging for us. Think about this, you guys, how challenging that is for us on the technical side. Now think about the manufacturers who have to put all of their lives, their energy, their savings into these new units that they have to trust will sell. And then the manufacturer is told, everything you just made, now we have to have you do something different.
Something
I
different.
can't imagine what you go through. I just can't.
Do you sell just the covers? Those are the,
Oh, those are nice cover.
we never thought about that. But as I said before, we can give them to you in any color you want. I've seen the weirdest requests. As I said, we made one.
I think Ty's trying to decorate the camper.
This is what I'm talking about though. They're like literally the prettiest appliance I've ever seen. And I'm like, I got excited over my red microwave when they came out, but these things, I'm like, girl, they got rose gold. They're awesome.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
Because now, if you think about architects, if you think about designer, there are houses that by themselves take 15, 20, because you put one in each room. And so you want them as you wish.
Yeah.
And then why not?
And their design and their style and their sleekness blend right in too. Like when I first saw them, I didn't know what they were. And I had to ask you, actually. I was like, what is this? But when I first saw them, I was just like, wow, that would be a really cool speaker to put in my office. And then I'm like, this is an air conditioner?
No, it will just heat you and cool you.
She said it's very cool, so it's very quiet, so it's not going to work really well as a speaker.
Yeah, no, that would have been a horrible idea. But they're the future to what we are being forced into. It's not that any of us asked for this. It's not that any of us would rather go anything other than a conventional split system, because we know that they work great. But there are not only situations where these are perfect because of space constraints or noise constraints, whatever it might be, but also we're being forced into something right now where we have to be very creative, and UKT has already thought of it for us. So where they have ducted units, it's kind of like, what are you doing? Like, why are you worried right now? Because you have this whole other option that is right there for you, regardless of what kind.
There are different options, something different in the market.
Yeah.
And these ducted units, are they an all-in-one as well? Like no outdoor unit, indoor unit?
Nothing on the outside.
Wow.
They have a different kind of installation, but our point is nothing on the outside.
Yeah, there's no line set. Think about that, guys. A ducted unit no line set. And these are not swamp coolers either. These are not absorption systems.
No,
They're
these are
amazing.
air conditioning. We can provide heat pump, so reversing cycle heat pump.
Oh, I forgot to ask
As
that.
a
That's
class,
right.
yeah, that's the classical heat pump. But we also have ceramic resistance. So there are heating elements made in ceramic, and they self-regulate themselves. That
Oh,
means
wow.
that you set the temperature and it will absorb the power that they need to get to that temperature. But that temperature is reached, they will decrease their consumption automatically.
Wow.
Wow.
This means
Wow.
that you set your thermostat, the thermostat will keep you warm, but when it's there, it decreases by itself. Because
Wow.
you don't want to forget it.
Yeah,
That's
right.
mostly what happened. When it's
Yeah.
1-to-1, you forget about it and you get the air
$1 million
becomes
light
dry,
bill.
it is too hot, lots of things.
Can't cool
And,
it down fast enough.
and they're safe in terms of fire because if somebody, for example, put something like a towel, let's imagine that you put a towel on top of your unit. Well, this kind of heating element will stop working
Wow.
automatically. They detect there's an issue, there's an obstruction, they stop working.
That's
And that is
amazing.
it. Then you
Wow.
take away your towel, and that is very useful in terms of hotels.
Yeah. Oh, I bet. Because nobody cares in a hotel. They'll throw their whole bag over there on the
Yeah,
unit.
but that is very bad for the unit.
I bet.
Yeah.
So these kind of heating elements were made in a way that you cover them, we stop working.
I love it. I love it. More safety features, you guys. This is what we need. We need to be looking at the future of HVAC instead of just continuously creating the same thing over and over again. And this is what a lot of manufacturers do that is very, very different from UKT. Manufacturers tend to make a product, realize it sells really, really well, and then that's where they stop. That's it. And then when they're forced into making new units or having a new idea, the world ends. The world ends for all of us. We can't
It's
get parts
harder.
for 6 months. Yeah.
It's harder
So-
because you've always been in that mind approach. That was your mind approach, and then it's how you have always, as I said,
You get
we
complacent.
like our technical department, and we're gonna keep having it
Just
for a
keep
long time.
moving forward. It's just so awesome. It's so weird.
Try to get something different every once in a while.
Yeah. This is
Awesome.
great. All right, guys, we have got to sign off here, but I want to thank Danila and UKT for being on our show. If you have not seen these units, go see these units. There's nothing stopping you. There's nothing stopping you from buying them. There's nothing stopping you from selling them to your customers. And
But
I didn't
also
even
to ask
know they were an
information.
option.
Just ask. I may understand
Awesome.
that they look different, that they look weird in some way because they are unique. Just ask
Yes.
any question. Somebody
love that.
will take the time to answer you. There's no stupid question ever.
Yep. And Danila
And thank
is
you for the
on
opportunity.
Instagram. So you guys can reach out via Instagram if you want to. It's
Absolutely.
her only social platform.
Thank you for the opportunity, Jennifer. Thank you so much.
Where does everybody go to find information to contact you and purchase your products?
Yeah, what's the website?
The website is ukt.us.
All right. I just
Very-
put it in the chat.
UX.
Man, you're behind.
Oh, did you already do it?
A half hour ago.
Well, Val was talking in my ear telling me
Got
that
you
I was wrong,
covered.
so I don't- All right, awesome. You guys, thank you so much for coming out tonight. This
Thank
was our
you.
first episode, and it's been an amazing one. I wouldn't change it for anything. So thank you, everybody who came in the chat. Thank you, Danila. Thank you, UKT.
Thank
and
you.
keep an eye out, you guys, because I have a little secret with Danila that I'm going to be revealing to you all very, very soon. So keep an eye out.
Absolutely.
Thank you
Thank
all.
you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.